UFC 310 is upon us this weekend. I'm going to be breaking down every single fight on this card, giving my full detailed predictions of every single fight on the card. And we're going to be starting with the early prelim, but I'm going to be starting a new thing where I give a bet of the night, and then I'm going to pick what's going to be the fight of the night. Bet of the night is it's going to be quite a common one, and fight of the night it's not going to be Ian Gary Shavkat. Okay, everyone's sticking that. I'm going to go with a different one. But first fight, Kennedy Nagachusku versus Lucas Bursky. Once again, we have just an absolute fucking shitter at heavyweight. Kennedy's going to win this fight. I think we can all agree on that. Bookies have him a minus 600 favourite. I think he's quite decent for a heavyweight, to be fair. He's quite big, even for heavyweight. I think I'll kind of push on towards the next year and start to get some kind of big fights underneath his belt, but not really much needed to be said about this fight. I'm gonna go with Kennedy, probably by first round. So yeah. Next up, one of my prodigies that I actually hold highly in my heart, Chase Hooper, is going to be taking on crazy bastard Clay Guida. Clay Guida is just a mad fucker. Okay, this dude's just an absolute fucking psychopath. He's coming off a loss. Joaquim Silva, he lost to Rafa Garcia as well, and he actually did lose to Chase Hooper in a grappling match. I think Chase Hooper's going to run through Clay Guida, to be quite honest with you. Chase Hooper's such a weird fucking guy. He's such a 12-year-old. It's so weird. I remember watching this dude on the Contender Series, and he got 8 million views or something on one of the fucking Contender Series videos, and the dude's actually a bit of a beast. He's on a bit of a tear at the moment. He submitted Jordan Levitt in the first round. He's coming off a nice second round dart stroke as well, very impressive. Not against kind of top level names, of course. He lost to people like Moicano and Sterling, but they're in grappling matches. You know what I mean? Can't really fucking say shit for that. But he lost to Alex Caceres a few years ago, and I think he's really started to get into it now of just being okay, this is fighting. This ain't a sport almost. Going in there to fucking scrap, and that's exactly what Chase Hooper's going to do. Chase Hooper, I think his submission's always quite a safe bet with Hooper, but I feel like I can kind of trust him to get a ground and pound kind of finish now, to be honest with you. So I'm going to go with Chase Hooper by second round ground and pound. Second round TKO, almost. Yeah, it's a good fight. Next up, and this card is absolutely stacked, by the way. We have Michael Chiesa versus Max Griffin. Michael Chiesa has decided to hang up the microphone for this fight, and he's going to be coming back after that first round submission over Tony Ferguson. But before that, it was not looking good, bro. It was not looking good. He got submitted by Vicente Luque. He lost to Sean Brady. He got submitted by Kevin Holland, and then came back almost a year later to fight Tony Ferguson. Chiesa's got some actual good wins on his record. He finished Carlos Condit. He beat RDA. He beat people like Neil Magny. He kind of lost to kind of the good of the division, but he's got some good wins like Dariush, Jim Miller. Dude's actually got quite a decent resume. Max Griffin is so hit and miss. Okay, this dude lost to Neil Magny, which is nearly unforgivable. Michael Morales, no shame in losing to that guy. Dude's a beast. Been watching him since the Contender Series, but he seems to be really back and forth. I don't like his inconsistency, but I don't like Chiesa's inactivity. Plus, I think Michael Chiesa is quite limited on the feet. I think Max Griffin's much better on the feet. No submission threat, really, coming from Griffin in this fight. You know what I mean? No submission threat. So, Chiesa's quite old. I can see him getting long. I can see Max Griffin just kind of working him. Pressing forward, and Chiesa looking for a takedown. Maybe gets hurt trying to get in for one. Because Casey's definitely got the grappling advantage. He's got some decent skills on the ground. He's got submissions on his record. So this I wouldn't say it's just tragic for Casey on the feet. But I don't rate Michael Chiesa striking at all, to be quite honest with you. Max Griffin's got some nice hands. I'm gonna go with a Max Griffin here. I feel like a Max Griffin maybe first round KO. I feel like he can. I could see him catching Casey kind of early and off guard. Chiesa probably shit the bed, and he needs to retire, in my opinion. He's a very good analyst in the game, so I don't know why he's not sticking to that. It's really not like this dude is ever going to win anything. Okay, let's be quite honest here. He's got a good career in fucking commentating. And like back in the day, even watching him trying to get to fucking lightweight is an absolute disgrace. But I'm gonna go Griffin by second round KO. I like him in this fight. Don't really like Chiesa anymore. Not as a person, but as a fighter, think he should be gone. Next up, we have a nice little flyweight one. One of my dogs at flyweight, Joshua Van, is going to be taking on Cody Durden. I feel like Cody Durden is quite an active fighter. I quite like Cody Durden, but I do like Joshua Van in this fight. Bookies have this down to the wire. Joshua Van's a slight favourite. He lost to Charles Johnson. Charles Johnson's quite decent, to be fair, but Cody Durden's a bit inconsistent. Like, he's got some losses in the UFC, but he's got some wins. He's coming off a nice little second round submission over Matt Snell. He does have that knockout ability, and he does have that submission threat. But I do like Joshua Van a little bit more on the feet on this one. I do like him a little bit more on the feet. He's only got one loss in the UFC. He hasn't really fought the top level competition yet, to be fair, but he's got some decent wins in the UFC. You know what I mean? He's fought Edgar Javara's last fight. Picked up a nice little decision win on that Sphere card. I think that was on short notice as well, so you got to give him credit there. The dude is active. And I like him in this fight. I think Van's going to be able to keep him at range, probably pick him up. You know, Cody Durden, if he's able to control Joshua Van on the ground, I can see it being quite a boring fight. And I don't think that's completely out of the realm of possibility. Because Cody Durden does have... It's not like he has tragic hands, to be fair, but I don't really see him getting a finish here of Joshua Van at all. And I think Van definitely has an advantage on the feet, but I don't really see... It's quite hard to say, like, flyweights have a load of power. You know what I mean? But I don't think Joshua Van's going to finish him, to be honest with you. I'm going to go to Joshua Van 29-28. I think he'll pick up the first and the third and kind of go from there with it. So yeah, Joshua Van decision. Next up, we have the return of Chris Weidman. He's taking on Eric Anders. I'm never, ever betting on Chris Weidman, man. I'm not betting on Chris Weidman this late in his career. And the bookies have this down to the wire and have Weidman an actual slight favourite, which is insane to me. Yeah, I'm not going with Chris Weidman on this one. Weidman probably has a little bit better striking. Because, you know, Eric Anders, he loves that grappling life. Do you know what I mean? He's had a load of grappling matches. He's fucking won none again. Like, he lost to Andre Petroski, Joe Pyfer in grappling matches. The dude is coming off a nice little win over Jamie Pickett. It was a decision, but still. It's quite a boring fight, man. It's quite a fucking boring fight. I'm going to say Eric Anders via decision. Simply because Chris Weidman's just old. I would not be surprised if Weidman just takes him down. But, who cares about Chris Weidman now? Like, who cares about Chris Weidman? Like, the dude had his, like, few years on the top, to be fair, and he had a good career. But yeah, like, Rockhold just fucking ended that dude. And it just went from bad to worse. It just went from fucking bad to fucking worse. But yeah, I'm gonna go with Eric Anders via decision on that one. Next up, this is gonna be my fight of the night. This is my prediction for fight of the night. Randy Brown versus Brian Battle. What an absolute fucking scrap this is. To have on a prelims. How greedy, UFC. How greedy to have this on the fucking prelims, bro. Brian Battle is a currently wanted enemy number one in France after the fucking absolute carnage he caused there. And holy fuck, does Brian Battle have hands. This dude did not give one single fuck letting him go against Kevin Jossett. He's got some decent wins. Like, he knocked out Gabe Green, knocked out AJ Fletcher. Came off the Ultimate Fighter. I remember watching him, actually. Submitted Andre Petroski in that. Dude's a bit of a beast. And I like him in this fight. But I fucking love Randy Brown. I absolutely love Randy Brown. Rude Boy's good with it. I haven't seen him since the summer, which is a little bit shit. But yeah, my boy got done dirty against Jack Della Maddalena. But he's on a 3-fight win streak. This is a scrap. I just think Brian Battle's probably better at the basics. Randy Brown's kind of got flashy striking and all that. You know what I mean? Like, he is good with it. Rude Boy's slick with it. But I just think Battle's going to be able to get him up against that cage and let them hands go. I think he's going to be too quick for Randy Brown, to be honest with you. And Randy Brown, I don't trust his chin. You know what I mean? I watched him against Chaos Williams as well when he got that split decision. And he was getting dropped. He got dropped in that third round and still won the fight, which is fucking insane. Got knocked out by Vicente Luque. You know, he's got some decent wins at Chaos Williams split decision, like I said. Alex Oliveira finishing the first round. Jared Gordon. I like Rude Boy on the feet, but I really liked Brian Battle's hands in the last fight. I really did. And he's only got one loss in the UFC, which is fucking pretty impressive. Like, he's 6-1 in the UFC. I had a nice little stint Ultimate Fighter as well. I like Brian Battle in this fight. I could see Brian Battle getting Randy Brown out there, to be quite honest with you. I'm going to go with a Brian Battle second round KO. I think it's going to be a nice little feeling out kind of in the first round. And I think Brian Battle's going to hurt him kind of towards the end of the second. Randy will probably survive. Keep it standing there for a while on the feet. And I feel like Battle's going to be able to get him up against that cage, let the hands go. And I think Rude Boy's going to go down, unfortunately. But still, this is the fight tonight. This is going to be a fucking... I'm really looking forward to this fight. But yeah, I'm going to go with Ryan Battle via second round TKO. Next up, we should have the main card opener, but we don't. Aljamain Sterling versus Movsar Evloev. Bit ridiculous now. Okay, there's no bit ridiculous now. Absolutely fucking ridiculous that this fight is not on the main card. Absolutely ridiculous. We have fucking Bryce Mitchell on short notice on the main card over one of the greatest bantamweights ever. Probably the second best bantamweight ever. Even opening up the main card, like Nate Landerwell, no one gives a fuck about you, mate. That's not true, actually, but still. You shouldn't be on the main card, especially when you have an Aljamain Sterling, Movsar Evloev. That's probably going to be a number one contender fight. Or is going to lead to a number one contender fight, if isn't already. I'm picking Aljo. I'm picking Sterling in this fight. I see a lot of people liking Movsar in this fight. I don't like Movsar in this fight. Movsar can definitely win this fight, and I will not be surprised. It is a close fight, but I like Aljo at featherweight, man. Calvin Kattar, I think, had the best takedown defense in featherweight history. I don't know if that's accurate, but I believe it's like he had 92% takedown defense, and I picked Kattar to beat Stern. You know, I thought he was a beast, and no one was able to control Calvin Kattar. No one. He had such good takedown defense, and Aljo wet blanketed him. I think that kind of divisional bantamweight wrestling really transcend there, because there's no real, apart from Movsar, there's no real holding wrestlers in featherweight. And Movsar can't even hold you down. Okay? Let's look at his last fight, Arnold Allen. Daylight robbery, first of all. Okay, Arnold won that fight. I'm not saying that because he's one of my favourite fighters. I'm saying that because it's a damage-based scoring system and you have to hold people down to get any sort of control time. Okay, you can't just slam them up. It's like Marab. Okay, it's the featherweight Marab we're dealing with here, but it's not that bad. But I don't really rate Movsar extremely highly. I don't think he's going to win a belt. I think he lost his last fight against Arnold Allen. He made hard fucking work of Diego Lopez on very short notice, okay? And I know it's Diego Lopez, but that was really short Diego Lopez. That was the first fight in the UFC and wasn't acclimated at all to the UFC, okay? And you made hard fucking work of it. I really feel like Movsar is not going to be able to hold these top featherweights down. Simple as. Don't think he's good enough. I like his jab. I think he's got decent hands. Like he was able to kind of like hurt Arnold in their fight. He was never really rocked or anything like that, but he was able to wobble him a little bit. But yeah, I thought it was a robbery. Like he's got decent skills. It's not as if this guy's tragic. Like he's got good cardio. He's going to be in the fight with Aljamain. But I just think Aljo's kind of got like almost the funk master they call him. He's got like a funky striking style. And that's quite unorthodox to find out. Meaning like it's quite tricky to find out. Like what he's going to do. He's kind of like blitzing sideward movement almost. And I think that's going to be quite tricky for Movsar to find out. If Movsar does try to take him down, if I'm Aljamain Sterling, I'm welcoming him there, okay? Because Aljo can wrap anyone up. Plus, Aljamain Sterling's better at holding people down than Movsar. I definitely believe that. Do you know what I mean? Like, I just think if you're losing to Arnold Allen, okay, and I know the judge gave to him, but that was, we all know. If you're losing to Arnold Allen, okay, and you can't hold him down, because Movsar was not able to hold him down in any of that fight. I don't see you holding down an Ilya or a Max Holloway or someone like that. Do you know what I mean? It's not happening. You might be able to have success against an Ortega, or Yair, because Yair is no wrestling. So yeah, something like that. But I think Sterling is really good, really underrated. I think he's a good featherweight. You know what I mean? I think he's going to cause problems at featherweight. To be honest with you, I think he's going to be able to hold people down, and he probably will run into like a challenge with like a Max or someone like that. Someone that won't be taken down and has great hands, or obviously Ilya, like, do you know what I mean? But still. So yeah, I like Aljamain Sterling via decision in this one. I've been backing Aljo ever since his fight got announced. I just don't rate Movsar. You know, I really don't. Like, he's got decent skills, but yeah, the dude has absolutely no finishing potential. It's pathetic. It is absolutely pathetic that this fight style is undefeated in the UFC. Fuck those judges that gave him that decision. Okay? And he was about to get finished as well, I believe, with that knee, which wasn't illegal, but still. Yeah, fuck that, man. That was an absolute robbery of a fight. Felt for Arnold Allen in that one, but still. Aljamain Sterling, 30-27 decision. That's what I'm going to go with. Next up, we have Vicente Luque versus Tamba Garimbo. It's quite sad to see how far Vicente Luque has really fallen. What an absolute fucking G that guy is. I don't... This is a close one to call. Obviously, Luque's kind of been like back and forth with Nick Diaz, kind of cancelled bouts and this, that, and the fourth. And do you know what I mean? Like, he was meant to fight Ian Gary. He was meant to fight Sean Brady. End up fighting Joaquin Buckley and getting finished. Was meant to fight Nick Diaz. Was meant to fight Nick Diaz again. Got cancelled. The dude just hasn't kind of found his flow with activity, which is sad. I just kind of think he's a bit past it now. And the new kind of generation are kind of coming through, and you know, Temba's quite dangerous on the ground. It's hard because he's on a nice little run in the UFC. I don't know if he finishes Luque. Like, he has got finished before Temba by AJ Fletcher, which is a fucking, isn't a great one now, but I wouldn't be shocked if Luque won this. Like, Temba's coming off a nice little win against Nico Price. He's quite he's dangerous on the ground, but I don't really see Vicente Luque getting finished in this fight. Maybe just kind of held down and stuff like that, you know. This is a really tricky one to call, because I want to pick Luque, because he's definitely got way more experience and he's definitely dangerous, but the chin is gone, man. The chin is fucking gone. You lost to Bilal Muhammad, you lose to Jeff Neal, you lose to Joaquin Buckley. You did pick up a nice win against RDA. Dude's got some solid fucking wins, like finish Nico Price, finish Randy Brown, finish Tyron Woodley, finish Michael Chiesa in a 4-fight streak. He seems to kind of go on streaks and then lose again, so yeah, man, it's going to be a tough one to take. I'm going to go with Temba. I'm going to go with Temba via decision on this one. I just don't want to see Vicente Luque get finished, to be honest with you. Yeah. Next up, we have Dominic Reyes taking on Anthony Smith. Now, I've shit on Anthony Smith just as much as fucking everyone, okay? The dude is just so fucking weird. It's finally good to hear now that he's kind of realizing that he'll never be champion. I've seen him say that in interviews now, which is great, which is fucking great, because you had one opportunity to become champion. Now, it wouldn't have been a legitimate way to become champion if he just said he couldn't continue against John Jones, you know, illegally kneeing people while they're down, knowing he couldn't. He's quite used to doing stuff that he knows he shouldn't do, isn't he? Anyway, yeah, that was kind of his opportunity, and he didn't take it. So the dude is just a fucking lost cause, in my opinion. He's got so much experience in that cage, and that is priceless. But Dominic Reyes is so he's kind of like the fans just really like seeing Dominic Reyes win, and I'm one of those fans. Do you know what I mean? I'm one of those fans. Like a lot of people, I thought he beat John Jones. I think Reyes is going to win this fight. He's coming off a nice little first round finish over Dustin Jacoby during the summer. Dude had a really hard time with it there for a while. Like, you lose to John Jones, you get knocked out by Yan, you get knocked out by Yuri, you get knocked out by a jab against Ryan Spann, and then you take nearly 2 years off. Like, it's tough, man. It's fucking tough. But he picked up a good win there, and we all love to see it. Plus, I just don't really see Anthony Smith having any ability to be able to finish Dominic Reyes, nor do I think Anthony Smith is even a top 10 light heavyweight. He's coming off a loss to Roman Dolidze. Dude's really inconsistent, to be quite honest with you, and I think Reyes is going to be able to keep him out range. Pop the jab, get out of range. Anthony Smith doesn't really have much for him. Reyes needs to be kind of careful of kind of maybe low attacks, but that's about it, really. I don't think Anthony Smith is going to grapple with him. I don't really see Dominic Reyes finishing him either. I don't think Reyes has too much power nowadays. He used to have a good bit of power back in the day, but I think it's kind of gotten a little bit worse as time goes on, and I just feel like Reyes will keep him at range. It is quite hard to trust the chin of Dominic Reyes, you know what I mean? And I trust it enough to Anthony Smith. You know, I can see Anthony Smith kind of holding him up against the cage, making it boring, and trying to get points that way, but it ain't going to work. And I just think Reyes is a better striker, and I see Dominic Reyes getting this one done. I'm going to go with Dominic Reyes 29-28. I think Anthony Smith might get a bit of success within like a clinch work, get around that way, but apart from that, I'm going Dominic Reyes on that one. Next up, we're going off to the main card, Nate Landwehr, and he's going to be taking on Doo-Ho Choi. This is quite an interesting fight. I actually do like this fight, to be honest with you. I'm not mad it's on this card. I'm just a bit like, why is this on the main card? I like the next fight, but still. Nate Landwehr seems to be making noise. With himself. The Train, I think his nickname is, or something like that. But quite kind of, I like his pressure moving forward. He lets his hands go like he's a finisher. He's had, 5 wins in the UFC, which is quite a good amount. 3 losses, but I don't know, man. There's something about this fight. I can see Doo-Ho Choi getting this done. Doo-Ho Choi is literally one of the greatest fights against Cub Swanson you will ever see. It's an absolute belter of a fight. If you haven't watched that, it's a fucking banger of a fight. But the dude has not been active, like, at all. Like, he fought Cub Swanson 2016, and that was, I think, 4 or 5 fights ago. The dude has not been active, like, one bit. Now, after that fucking scrap, you would want to take some time off. But still, he's only got 1 win in the last fucking 6-7 years. I can see him winning this fight, to be honest with you. But he does kind of, like, fade as the fight goes on. Jeremy Stevens finished him. Charles Jourdain finished him. They kind of finished him later on in the second round. I could see Nate Landwehr kind of doing that as well. Do you know what I mean? I like his pressure moving forward. But I can also see kind of Doo-Ho Choi kind of catching him with just something. Like, he's coming off a good first round KO against Bill Aguero, which is a decent win. Nothing serious now, to be fair. But yeah, I'm going to go with Doo-Ho Choi on this one, actually. I'm going to go with Doo-Ho Choi first round KO. That's my prediction for this one, okay? Next up, we have Bryce Mitchell versus Kron Gracie. Absolutely fucking insanity that this is so high up on the card. We get it, Kron Gracie, the Gracie family, Joe Rogan's gonna fucking cream his pants and stuff like that, but still. Bryce Mitchell, he's coming off 2 losses as well. He's coming off 2 losses to Cub Swanson and fucking Charles Jourdain. Okay? 2 absolute fucking bang average. Charles Jourdain's a bit more than bang average, but 2 absolute non-fucking prelim fighters. Non-ranked fighters, sorry, I should say. Bryce Mitchell, a lot of people, including myself, thought he could go far in the division. Still can. I actually picked Bryce. I picked Bryce to beat Ilia Topuria. Now, bit of a shit one, okay? It's easy to say that fucking now, okay? But still. He's coming off an absolute tragic first round KO loss to Josh Emmett a year ago, though. So he's definitely overcome that and kind of shaking the cobwebs off there. But Bryce Mitchell's going to win this fight. Bryce Mitchell's going to hold Kron Gracie down. Kron Gracie might be able to wrap him up in something, but I trust in Bryce Mitchell. Like, he's got decent jiu-jitsu as well. So it's not as if this is a tragic case of, oh shit, like, you know when you go to the ground with Oliveira, you're like, oh fuck, I'm going to the ground with Oliveira. He might wrap me up. You don't really have that kind of thing with Kron Gracie, in my opinion. Like, he definitely has good jiu-jitsu, but it's nothing to the point where I'm like, fuck, Bryce needs to stand. Plus, Bryce Mitchell has okay striking. You know what I mean? I like Bryce Mitchell's kicks, spinning back kicks, stuff like that. Not really a big fan of his boxing, but still, like, he's got decent level striking. So I'm going with Bryce Mitchell via decision on this one. It's just insanity to me that someone who's 5-2 in the UFC, coming off 2 losses, is able to get a main card spot above Movsar Evloev and Aljamain Sterling. It's fucking ridiculous. It's fucking ridiculous, okay? Anyway, it makes no difference, to be quite honest with you. But next up, now we're getting into the fucking juicy part of this video. Cyril Gane fucking finally returns, and he's going to be taking on Alexander Volkov. I am a big Cyril Gane fan, okay? And I know that's quite hard to be a Cyril Gane fan now, but I like Cyril Gane. I watched Cyril Gane on the come up. I actually watched their first fight live, which is pretty fucking sweet. And I really thought this dude was going to be like the next kind of thing at heavyweight. He was undefeated. He had this absolute luster movement that we had never seen before. He was a butterfly. He was an absolute butterfly walking around that cage. But the dude just fucking cannot. He couldn't get grappling going to save his life. Okay, he was like a fish out of fucking water the second he hit the ground. I do think Cyril Gane is getting better. But Alexander Volkov has changed a lot and has gotten so much better since that first fight. But the problem is, Cyril Gane hasn't necessarily gotten way better in terms of what this fight is going to be, which is a striking fight. Cyril Gane's the best heavyweight striker ever, and I've been saying this for time that I've said this on this channel a few times. No one can stand in a striking match with Cyril Gane and win. Tom Aspinall's like the only one due to the speed and the power and like his moving forward, but Cyril Gane is fucking unbelievable striker. You know, this dude is the real shit when it comes to the feet. He's coming off that nice win against Sergey Spivak. Okay? Finished Sergey Spivak in France in the second round. It's a bit shit. He's been out for so long. Now, he did say in a few interviews that he was trying to get booked, and he was meant to be fighting Aspinall for the interim bet in Manchester. That didn't happen. Kind of had a year off. Now, let's fucking hope he just worked on his wrestling. Okay, I wouldn't be surprised if he come back and just be, I did not do it, I need more time, and you know, just Gane talking shit. But I don't think the fact Volkov's gotten better is going to be enough to beat Cyril Gane in this fight. I rewatched that first fight yesterday, and very close, but Gane was kind of in control. I felt Gane was always in the middle of the cage, and he was able to do just more than Volkov with the hands. That's what I really thought that fight came down to. Both are very accurate and sharp with the low kicks, and I don't really see that being much different here. But the fact is, this is the 3-rounder, okay? Is that going to favour Cyril Gane or Volkov? I feel like that might favour Gane a little bit more, because I feel like if Volkov's going to win, I feel like he's probably going to have to finish Cyril Gane, to be quite honest with you. And Gane's just going to have to, you know, dance around him for 15 minutes, not 25 minutes. And that's a big fucking difference. Big difference. So I just feel like Gane's going to be able to dance around him like he did in the first fight, you know. Nice kind of low kicks. But there's one thing I noticed in that first fight I should say, is that there was times when Volkov was up against the cage and they were both kind of like fainting. Gane would just stand there. Gane would just fucking stand there. Like, Volkov's gotten way better at planting his feet, as throwing strikes. Way better. Usually, before Volkov would kind of like be kind of almost like not jumping, but kind of just like skipping on his feet. You know what I mean? I don't think he really does that anymore. Now, he had an absolute clinic against Sergey Pavlovich. I picked him to win in that fucking fight as well. That was a great prediction from me, like all my predictions. But yeah, I'm only messing, but still, You know, he beat Sergey Pavlovich, finished Tai Tuivasa, finished Alexander Romanov, finished Rosenstrike on a nice little 4-fight win streak here, and he's going to be confident going into this fight. But, like I said, I just don't see anyone beating Cyril Gane in a striking match. Is Volkov going to wrestle? Nah, he's just not going to wrestle. Plus, I don't think he'd have much success with the wrestling. John Jones and Alexander Volkov's wrestling ability are very different, if you didn't fucking realise. Okay, they're very different. Cyril Gane's going to be able to pick him at range. Cyril Gane's going to be able to use the outside. He's going to be able to use his jab. He's going to be able to get Volkov's low kicks, get to the body, and he's going to be able to do that for 15 minutes. Volkov's going to be able to make it competitive, but I don't see Volkov's output to the level of Cyril Gane. And I don't see his accuracy is to the level of Cyril Gane as well. I think Volkov might be a little bit more sharp with the calf kicks and the low kicks, but Cyril Gane's movement's way better. Cyril Gane's speed's better. I think Cyril Gane's just better everywhere, to be honest with you. It's a fucking great fight. You'd almost forget that this is on this card. You know what I mean? Because I really feel like the next fight's really taking all that shine. But I'm going Cyril Gane. I'm going to go Cyril Gane 30-27 on this one. I think he'll start strong and be able to keep that pace throughout the fight. Volkov's going to be kind of find it hard to keep the range. I feel like Gane's jab moving forward, getting to Volkov's face is going to be quite well. Do him up against the cage. I like Cyril Gane in this fight. Next fight, the people's main event. Let's be honest here. The people's main event, Shavkat Rakhmonov is going to be taking on Ian Cuscado Gary. And what a fucking scrap this is. Look, I'm calling him a cook at everything, but give the man respect. Okay, I know you all hate him and he's a cook and he's fucking this and he's fucking that, but the dude is just taking on one of the scariest fighters in the UFC on short notice. And he's undefeated. Both of them are undefeated. Both of them deserve respect, okay? Some people just... I've seen it on TikTok of some people just being like, I just don't like Ian Gary. Which is fair enough. But at least give the dude some respect, okay? And respect his skills. Ian Gary has a good chance in this fight. Been rewatching some of their fights. They have very kind of like common opponents, which is pretty good. Because it kind of gives us a feel of how they've done in their fights before. Like I said, both of them are undefeated. But I feel like the way both of them are winning is so different. So different. Shavkat has got a 100% finish ratio in his career. And the reason I think Shavkat, not only because of his insane skill, but I genuinely feel the reason Shavkat has such a good... Shavkat moves forward so much. That's why I think Shavkat has such a high finishing rate. Obviously, he has unbelievable skills everywhere. The dude's really, really fucking good everywhere. But I would just feel like Shavkat's unrelenting pressure. Like I've been watching some of his fights lately, and the dude is just never not in your face. He's always giving you something to worry about. And the fact is, he is undefeated and is able to finish you from all angles of the fight. That is another thing people have to worry about. Do you know what I mean? He's got more submissions than knockouts. Not to say he doesn't have hands, because oh boy, he does. But the dude can literally do it everywhere, okay? Now, Stephen Thompson definitely had success on the feet, but like Stephen Thompson has success with everyone on the feet. The dude's an absolute beast on the feet. But a lot of people go back to the Jeff Neal fight. I rewatched that Jeff Neal fight yesterday. Not as competitive as people. Not that wasn't competitive. Sorry, not as much of an absolute fucking war as some people thought. Shavkat was winning that fight. He was able... Jeff Neal fucking landed. Which is one thing that I'm going to talk about in this fight, is that Shavkat is very hittable. That's why I think Ian Gary can have success in this fight. But the common denominators here, Jeff Neal and kind of Neil Magny, they would be the notable fighters that these two have fought. And you can kind of like throw Michael Venom Page in there as like the Wonder Boy and stuff like that, you know what I mean? But split decision against Jeff Neal that a lot of people thought he lost. Okay? Some people thought he lost. Neil Magny couldn't even finish him on one leg. Fucking poor. And MVP, I thought he lost, to be quite honest with you. I rewatched it, thought MVP won. Schooled him in the second round on the feet. And I said it that there are not many fighters in the world that are going to be able to hang with MVP in the feet, especially not Ian Gary. And I was right. Ian Gary had to take him down. He's not going to be able to take Shavkat down in this fight. But he is better striker than Shavkat with regards to boxing. Okay? I like Shavkat's speed. I like Ian Gary's speed. I like Ian Gary's hands in this fight. The problem is, Ian Gary can get taken down. He hasn't got bulletproof takedown defense. Now, it's not a case of Ian Gary gets held down, because he doesn't get held down. But he does get held up against the cage, which I think is going to be the biggest point in this fight. If Ian Gary's up against the cage, he is fucked. That's what I think. I genuinely think if Ian Gary's up against that cage, not only is Shavkat going to be able to land some good, solid strikes, he's going to be able to get Ian Gary down like a trip, or he might go in for like a single or a double and slam him down. And I think once Ian Gary is down, I think Shavkat has him. I think Shavkat's going to submit Ian Gary. I don't think it'll be early. I think one thing I actually want to rant about here. I see a lot of people like, oh, Ian Gary's fucking... I trust Shavkat to go through war more. I trust Shavkat's chin more. I trust Shavkat's heart more. Like, bro, what the fuck are you watching? Like, what fights are you watching? You see Ian Gary about to quit or is fading away as the fight went on, and if the fourth and fifth were there, he would have won. What fights are you watching? You're chatting absolute fucking shit here. Do you know what I mean? You're chatting absolute fucking bullshit. Whoever says that fucking shit, that pisses me off. Okay? When you're saying, oh yeah, Shavkat's way more of a dog than Ian Gary. What fights are you watching that Ian Gary hasn't shown that? Or shown that he's not? Yes, Shavkat has shown it with like the Jeff Neal fight, but that's not saying Ian Gary doesn't have it. No, trust me, I'd be the first to... I'd love to be like, oh, he's a soy fucker. Because he probably, he's fucking... I'm not going to get into it, but... Yeah, like you have to actually go off fact with some things like this. To sit there and say Ian Gary isn't a fucking built for war and shit like that. Man, okay, yeah, he's a bit of a twig, but that doesn't mean there's not a fucking dog in him. Do you know what I mean? That stuff just fucking is stupid. It's just fucking stupid. But anyway, back to the fight. I feel like Ian can circle around the cage quite well, which is good, but I just feel like the unrelenting pressure of Shavkat is going to be in Ian's face a lot. That is going to leave a lot of holes for Ian to throw. I think Ian's got fast hands, like I said. I like Ian Gary's kicks. Kind of teeps up the middle I want to see in this fight. I want Ian Gary to win. I think it's good for the sport if Ian Gary wins. It's going to cause an absolute fucking shit show. I think teeps up the middle for Ian Gary. Maybe even try zap Shavkat's gas tank with those body kicks. Try get the low kicks. See if he can fuck his movement up. But thing is, Shavkat's so quick with the feet, and that's like Shavkat's something Ian's never ever faced. And like Neil Magny and Jeff Neal, they're cool, they're fine, but this dude has it everywhere, bro. Like fucking everywhere. That's worrying, and I just think that's going to be the difference in this fight, is that Ian hasn't got a submission in the UFC. I don't think. Do you know what I mean? And he is a striker. He's a striker true and true. Do you know what I mean? He's only got one submission win in his whole career. And his last few performances, it's been like over a year and a half since Ian's finished someone, and it was D-Rod. And then Son as well, nearly blasted his fucking chin into existence. MVP had so much from on the feet. Jeff Neal, split decision. Neil Magny, one leg, couldn't finish him. And then you look at Shavkat's record. Do you know what I mean? Like Stephen Thompson, second round sub. Jeff Neal, standing rear naked choke. Neil Magny, guillotine. Dude is a fucking beast, bro. Dude is an absolute beast. And I think he's going to finish Ian Gary in the fourth round. I just feel like Ian's never faced someone like this. And I feel like Ian can get success in this fight. Like I said, by sticking on the outside and popping the jab and throwing shit up the middle. But I just feel like Shavkat's going to wear on him a little bit. I feel like Shavkat's going to wear. I'm not saying Ian Gary doesn't have a bad gas tank, because there's nothing to say he doesn't. But I feel like Shavkat's not going to take the foot off the gas. And I feel like he'll get him up against that cage, and I feel like he'll try feel Ian out in the first round. Start to take a few more risks as the fight goes on, because this is a 5-rounder. Neither of these guys have got 5 rounds. Shavkat's never gone 3 rounds. Okay? So yeah, I feel like Shavkat racking on 4th round submission. Okay? 4th round submission. That's my official prediction for this fight. That's not even the main event. We're getting on to the main event here. We got Kai Asakura versus Alexandre Pantoja. I'm picking Pantoja in this fight. I think Pantoja is going to submit Kai Asakura within the first 2 rounds. This is my bet of the night. Been watching Kai Asakura's fights over the last while. Dude is very good on the feet. Okay, he's very good on the feet, but he is very hittable, and he has got knocked out. And I think kind of like the common ground a lot of MMA fans are going for is the Maynard Cape fight. Okay, it's the Maynard Cape. The two of them. One was a split decision, and the second one he got chinned in. I watched the one he got knocked out in. It didn't exactly over fill me with confidence. Now that is a while ago, so I watched the one Archuleta fight. Looked decent to be fair, but bro, like this thing of Ryzen FC. I'm gonna say this is not the UFC. Okay, this is not the UFC. And if you look at those men fight, yeah, they're fighting in a ring. Pantoja is gonna have such an advantage in this fight. A, in the grappling, but B, the fact that this is in a cage is an insane advantage to Pantoja. That's something no one has talked about. And I only kind of copped it when I was watching back his fights. I was like, holy fuck, like, this dude isn't going to be used to the cage. And when Pantoja has him up against that cage, I guarantee you he will get a takedown from that. He'll single or double leg him, slam him on the ground and get in submission. That's my prediction for this fight. I do think Kai Asakura could catch Pantoja with something in particular. I did like his knee moving forward up the middle. That's one thing I did like. He's got very good striking. Don't get me wrong. This dude is fucking rapid. Okay, but flyweights are always fast. Okay, it's rare you meet a slow flyweight. You know what I mean? But this dude is really, really quick. Very good hands. I really like his combinations. I love the way he's able to move forward. Very good. He's very good. But we don't even know if this dude's a top 5 fighter. And you're expecting him to go in there after a year layoff and fight Pantoja, who's probably going to be the second best flyweight when he wins this fight. I would say he's the second best flyweight if he wins this fight. 3 wins over Brandon Moreno, 2 wins over Brandon Royval, 1 over Kai Kara France. Dude's a fucking beast. And there's probably more I just can't even think off the top of my head. Steve Erceg as well, of course. He's beat Maynard Cape as well. Matt Schnell. Yeah. Dude's an absolute fucking... He's beat Alex Pereira as well. The dude's a fucking beast. It's all coming to me now, but... Yeah, I don't see Kai Asakura having too much success in this fight, to be completely honest with you. I just think Pantoja's ability to be able to take a shot is massive. He's got an absolute chin and he's an absolute warrior. Like, dude doesn't go down for fucking nothing. And he had one of the best scraps ever against Alexander Volkanovski. It was on the Volkanovski card, but it was against Brandon Moreno. Then he went to kind of like a shit decision against Brandon Royval. Then he fought Steve Erceg, which a lot of people, including myself, I must say, thought he lost that fight. But no one expected Pantoja to win. Do you know what I mean? And I kind of think Pantoja was in his hometown, and I think he took it a little bit too for granted. Plus, Steve Erceg's got good takedown defense and ability to get up. And he's got insane boxing. Steve Erceg's good. And Kai Asakura, as good as of a striker he is, this is definitely a striker versus grappler matchup. As good of a striker as he is, I just don't see the grappling. I really, really don't. And I think Pantoja's going to steamroll him. I genuinely think Pantoja's going to submit him early. And just show why he's the best flyweight in the world, to be honest with you. So my official prediction for that is Pantoja versus via second round submission inside the first 2 rounds for sure. That's my official prediction for this. But stack the card. Let me know what you think about it down below. Thanks for watching.